Welcome back to Viewpoint. I'm Jim Zogby. I want to introduce you now to a remarkable film produced in Jordan. It's called Captain Abu Raed. It's the first Jordanian feature film ever exported to the world cinemas. It's won 27 awards so far, and it's still winning more. In a moment, we're going to talk to the director, Amin Matalqa from Los Angeles. But first, let's take a look at a clip from the film. It gets a whole lot better. Let me welcome Amin Matalqa, the writer, director, producer of the film. Born in Jordan, moved to the U.S., age of 13, directed 25 short films before making this his first feature film. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, sir.
I saw it last night, and as I sent you the email afterwards, it left me breathless. It's really quite extraordinary. I want to, just before we start getting into the conversation, take another clip from the film. Here the main character, the captain, as it were, confronts the children who want to believe him. Take note of the location on the scenery, rather, on the location. Was this the movie you wanted it to be? When you looked at the finished product, did it say to you, "I did it"?
Yeah, it was actually more than I ever expected. I mean, I knew from people's reactions to the script when I did like 30-some drafts of the script, and I knew people were really getting moved by the script. But you know, making a movie is like building layers, and when we started shooting the film, I started to see the performances that we were getting and the footage that we were getting, and just the, you know, I had the confidence because of Nadim and just like the trust I had with the kids that we had something special. But just you get so involved in it, and at the end of the day, we had 4 weeks to shoot the whole movie. So at the end of the day, every day I'd come home and I'd say, we had like 2 or 3 wow moments in terms of performance today, and so I started to realize like we have actually something that's better than the script. And it's, you know, you hear so many stories, and I read a million books just before we started filming about people's first experience making their first film, and you hear this so much. That just make your first film, it can, you know, it may not be very good, but just get your first film done. And I said, if we can at least just deliver the script and make it into a film, then we're gonna deliver. But the layers, the performance, the production design, the cinematography, all the people that work together put their 200% into the film. So it's much more than I expected.
You know, there are films that are just beautiful, and the story's thin, and then there are great stories and they're not well shot or edited. This is beautifully shot. The editing is wonderful, but the story is what drives it.
Yeah, of course.
It's a complex story. There are so many emotions in it, and so many feelings and thoughts that run through your mind as you're watching it. Where did the storyline come from? How did it all come together? What were the sort of the inspirations that hit you as you started to sort of concoct this character and put him through the story that he lives out in this film?
Yeah, I mean, over the span of a year and a half, just organically it evolved with each rewrite. But initially, David Pritchard, my producer, said, just make a Jordanian film that's universal, something that Charlie Chaplin would want to be in if he were alive today. And I'm a big Chaplin fan. So so in that spirit, the tramp, you know, or the man on the street, the average person who we just dismiss, was kind of the initial idea. And like my father's a pilot, my brother's a pilot, so I grew up around the aviation and the airport and just these themes of traveling the world and all these things. So that was the initial seed. Okay, so who's a simple person in the airport? The janitor. You know, we pass by this person, we don't really pay attention to them. And the same year I started writing in 2005, my grandfather had just passed away. And so much of Abu Raed's spirit comes from my grandfather's sense of innocence. My mom's dad, he was 93 years old and still working 6 days a week. He was just a very wonderful, humble man. He was a doctor in downtown Amman. And just people knew him on the street, and we used to go with him as kids, and he used to tell us stories. So like it was a conglomerate of all these elements. And over the span of the first draft of the script didn't really have a conflict. It was about this old man and his friendship with these kids who think he's a pilot, and his friendship with this real pilot, female pilot, comes from like the high society of Amman. And over the span of a year and a half, I just kept finding, okay, what are some themes that, where is the conflict in this? How is this something that can translate across the world, but also be local to Jordan? And it was a balancing act the whole time, so it evolved.
Before I get into the lead female character, I want to talk about the captain, Nadim Sawalha. I mean, he's a great actor in his own right. Probably, as I looked down read about the film, I think he's the only one who'd ever made a feature film before, and he's made a bunch of them. What was it like? What role did he play as a brilliant actor of enormous experience, dealing with these folks who've never been in a film before, and with I might say, with a writer-director who never made a film before? I mean, how did everybody interact with him?
There was a lot of love on the set, and like if you meet Nadim instantly, he is a storyteller. He is loaded with. He's a very funny person too, and he's very funny and humorous, and people love him. He's like, you know, you just want to hug him. But also he has a lot of. He came to the role with a lot of philosophy behind it, and he brought this whole sense of things that are not on the screen, but this sense of. Abu Raed is in this world but not of this world. He is in another life. He was a man who studied in the East, and he comes from this Eastern mysticism, you know. And he had all these things that I would have never thought of because I don't have the life experience to look at these things. And so immediately he came with these things, and he turned this character into his own. And everyone saw his commitment and his humility on the set, and I think that's true leadership, is that Nadim was an example of how we can all just work together and really put our 200%. And the kids loved him. Yeah,
the female lead is really quite special. Felt like when it was over, I thought, here's a star being born. She'd never made a film before either. Let's take a little look at her. This is a clip with Noor, her father trying to fix her up with a potential suitor for marriage. It's a scene which replays a couple of times in the film in different ways. Let's watch it. She's having none of it. It's great. How did you find her?
Well, Rana Sultan is actually, she used to host the morning show. She was a talk show presenter, the Friday morning talk show. And I was in Jordan in 2006, a year before we started filming. And my mother had just read the script, and she said, there's someone who might be perfect for this role. Very down-to-earth, beautiful, just, you know, Rana Sultan. So I went on the internet, looked her up, and she looked like the down-to-earth kind of girl. And so we called her up, I sent her the script, and she said, I don't know anything about acting, I'm not an actress. And I said, just read the script, and if you like it, you know, maybe we can meet. And so she read it, and the next day she called me and she said, I love the script, and yeah, let's meet, let's just talk. You know, I'm not an actress, but, you know, so we met with her, and instantly she has so much charisma and so much, she's very independent, very strong, but very funny also, and has great comic timing. And again, you know, it was really fun working with her, and I hope she'll continue acting. She doesn't see herself as an actress yet, but I think so much of Noor is also Rana as well. So.
The kids, obviously they'd never acted before either. You scoured around summer camps and found them. They really were quite special.
Yeah, the boys, we met about 200 kids, and Hussein al-Sus and Airdate July, the boys who play Murad and Tariq in the film. We went to 6 different refugee camps, Palestinian refugee camps in Amman and outside of Amman. And 10 of the 12 kids came from the orphan centers. And I tell you what, when you see the intelligence in their eyes and the instincts, you immediately know that this kid is very special. And even though they don't have the acting experience, they deliver tenfold. I mean, we were doing 3 takes and moving on of complex scenes, and just moving into the close-ups even quicker because they had raw talent, and you immediately knew that they were talking to you like adults. And they were really fun hanging around the set, but they really took the roles seriously, and we had this instant
get up on,
trust and, yeah.
I'm going to cut you off for a minute. I want to get up on the screen the cities where it's going to be showing. San Francisco and Berkeley the 24th. Denver the 31st of July. San Diego the 7th of August. New York the 14th. Detroit and Washington on the 21st. And Boston and Philadelphia on the 28th. That's what's up for the film. Get those dates down. Listen, if you go see any movie the end of this summer and you're in one of those cities, that's the movie to go see. It is an extraordinary experience. What's up for you next? Jordan's got to be real happy with you. Are they going to get you back to do another one?
Yeah, I'm planning another. But I should say it's opening even more cities. The website captainfilm.com will be updated with more. CaptainAbuRaed.com or captainfilm.com will be updated with the.
We have it up on the
releases.
screen. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm planning to do both American films and more Jordanian films.